Hello there. Welcome to the final part in this 12-part series where I'm talking about adequate illustrations in historical films. Today's film is Silence. Viewer discretion is advised, as I'm going to be saying some cynical things about Christianity. Silence is a film about Christians being persecuted in Japan, and I think it might be Martin Scorsese's magnum opus. Christianity represented a major existential threat to all non-Christian parties, overtly through the Inquisitions and its role as a cog of colonialism, as well as subversively by pulling converts out of their national culture, which often led to dissent and uprising. There are two main aspects of Christianity that render it a threat. It is aggressively monotheistic, which means that it can spread through osmosis, but it cannot be countered through osmosis. That is, a pagan Roman might accept Jesus as a secondary god in their pantheon, but this exchange can only go one way. No true Christian would ever accept Jupiter as a secondary. The other aspect is that Christianity is a religion of death, which means that while it can be spread by fire and sword, it cannot easily be countered by fire and sword. A religion of life is a much easier thing to counter by persecution. In a religion of life, you can simply announce that anyone who stands up as a Bokononist will have their head cut off. After the first couple decapitations, people will stop standing up. Christianity, as a religion of death, does not function in this way, death and suffering being seen as the path to paradise. The Japanese in the film find it insufficient to simply execute Christians and priests, because they just embrace it as martyrs. Rather, they target the emotions of the missionaries to force them to apostatize, breaking their faith by forcing the question of body or soul, removing the leadership without turning them into martyrs, thus an attack on the very foundation of the mission, and the subsequent spiritual defeat of the mission. It carries weight when the missionary renounces his work as harmful. The film adequately portrays the connection between religious, cultural, and political conflict, the conflict inherent to missionary work, and the difficulties and failures of communicating across languages and cultures. Thus concludes this experimental series. Merry Christmas.